the opposite of how you feel when the pain they caused is just too real. It takes everything you have just to say the word forgiveness. It's a type of love and humbling yourself before God through faith and obedience. In Matthew 22, verses 37 to 39, Jesus says, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and great commandment, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself." Meg, Beth, and Amy were sitting together late in the afternoon when Joe burst into the room. "Has anyone taken my book?" Meg and Beth said no at once and looked surprised. Amy poked the fire and said nothing. Joe saw her color rise and was down upon her in a minute. An excerpt from Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. "Amy, you've got it." "No, I haven't." "You know where it is then?" "No, I don't." "That's a fib." "It isn't. I haven't got it. Don't know where it is now and don't care." "You know something about it and you better tell once or I'll make you." "Scold as much as you like. You'll never see your silly old book again." "Why not?" "I burned it up." "You wicked, wicked girl! I never can write it again and I'll never forgive you as long as I live." In The Hiding Place by Corrie ten Boom, we see her struggle to forgive a former Nazi soldier. "It was at a church service in Munich that I saw him, the former SS man who had stood guard at the shower room door in the processing center at Ravensbrück. He was the first of our actual jailers that I had seen since that time. And suddenly, it was all there. The room full of mocking men, the heaps of clothing, and his pain-blanched face. He came up to me as the church was empty, beaming and bowing. "How grateful I am for your message, Fräulein. To think that he has washed my sins away." His hand was thrust out to shake mine, and I, who had preached so often to the people of Bloemendahl the need to forgive, kept my hand at my side. Jesus Christ had died for this man. Was I going to ask for more? "Lord Jesus," I prayed, "forgive me and help me to forgive him." Jesus once told a story, the parable of the prodigal son from Luke chapter 15, about a young man who squanders all his money. After his reckless behavior, he realizes he needs to ask his father for forgiveness. "And he arose and came to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion, and ran and embraced him and kissed him. And the son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his servants, 'Bring quickly the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet.' And they began to celebrate." I tried to smile. I struggled to raise my hands. I could not. I felt nothing. And so again I breathed a silent prayer. "Jesus, I cannot forgive him. Give your forgiveness." As I took his hand, the most incredible thing happened. From my shoulder, along my arm, and through my hands, a current seemed to pass from me to him, while into my heart sprang a love for this stranger that almost overwhelmed me. And so I discovered that it is not on our forgiveness, any more than on our goodness, that the world's healing hinges, but on his. When he tells us to love our enemies, he gives the love itself. It was the next day when Joe had a change of heart. For a minute, Joe stood still, but something held and turned her around just in time to see Amy throw up her hands and go down with a sudden crash of rock and ice, the splash of water. How she did it, she never knew, blindly obeying Laurie, who was quite self-possessed and lying flat, held Amy up by his arm and hockey stick till Joe dragged the rail from the fence, and together they got the child out. Shivering, dripping, and crying, they got Amy home, and she fell asleep rolled in blankets before a hot fire. Amy stirred, and sighed in her sleep, and as if eager to begin at once to mend her fault, Joe looked up with an expression on her face which it had never worn before. I let the sun go down on my anger, and today, if it hadn't been for Laurie, it might have been too late. How could I be so wicked? As if she heard, Amy opened her eyes and held out her arms with a smile that went straight to Joe's heart. Neither said a word, but they hugged one another close, and everything was forgiven and forgotten in one hearty kiss. I want to finally set you free, so show me how to see what your mercy sees. Help me now to give what you gave to me. Forgiveness. Forgiveness.